The 2022 Phoenix Suns, a well-balanced machine led by 37-year-old point guard Chris Paul, the brilliant coaching of Monty Williams, the sharp-shooting prolific scorer Devin Booker, the big physical DeAndre Ayton, the 3-and-D brilliance of Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, the physical and gritty Jay Crowder, serviceable backups in Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet, and Torrey Craig, the once laughed-at meme of the league, but the vet savviness and energetic useful backup, three-time champion JaVale McGee, and the career resurgence of Bismack Biyombo. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Having already clinched the #1 seed 3 weeks before the end of the regular season and still doesn't get the coverage and love from the media, unlike some teams in danger of missing the playoffs, these Suns have championship aspirations, and even better than last season, being 8.5 games ahead of the team with the second best record. Despite CP3 missing over 5 weeks with a hand injury, these Suns figure out how to close games, execute, and win the tight ones. On verge to winning to the mid to high 60s, only a handful of teams have been able to win 80% of its games in an 82-game season. Now that these Suns in elite company, being so much better than all its competitions, only a very few teams have ever been able to outpace its competition. Winning so much more than everybody else creates an outlier, and double-digit games ahead of any of the best teams in the East. Let's take a look at every team in NBA history to have finished 8 games or more better than the second place team with the second best record, and the results of those successful teams, if they won a championship or not. Why didn't they? I'm not counting the very first season the league was formed, called the BAA Basketball Association of America, just 11 teams in a 60-game schedule. For historical context, the BAA and the National Basketball League merged to create the NBA following the 1948-49 season. Washington Capitals' 49-11 record, 10 full games better than the Chicago Stags, but it was the Philadelphia Warriors 14 games worse than the first place team to win the title. The only real time a team finished above double-digit games over the second best record team to not win a championship. Next up, the 1958 Boston Celtics. After winning the 57 title with sensational rookie Bill Russell and Tommy Heinsohn, both in year 2, the Celtic Dynasty began to take control of the league. A 49-23 record, 8 games better than the St. Louis Hawks, the previous season's runner-up, and the sensational Syracuse National led by prime Dolph Schayes. The defending champs finished 6 games better than the season before. Due to only 8 total teams back then, Boston only needed to play 2 series. A convincing 5-game series win over Paul Aronson and the Warriors. The loaded squad of Bill Sharman, Bob Cousy, Tom Heinsohn, Frank Ramsey, and Bill Russell looked like they were going to steamroll Bob Pettit and the Hawks, a rematch of the 57 finals. However, the results different. The first 2 games, a healthy Boston fell 104-102 game 1 despite Russell's 29 rebounds, but an easy 24-point win game 2. Pettit contained to just 19 points. Game 3, the very turning point of the series, not only did St. Louis escape with a 3-point win, but superstar Russell severely sprained his ankle, forced to miss the following 2 games. A game changer and a huge break for St. Louis. Boston, without their MVP, still managed to win game 4, but lost a nail-biter in game 5. Russell's willpower forced him to play game 6, but limited for 20 minutes, just 8 and 8 on 2 of 7 shooting. Prime Pettit took advantage with a 50-point, 19-rebound closeout masterpiece, the only team to ever knock off Russell's Celtics in the finals, only one of the 2 losses in Russell's playoff series career, this one due to injury. Of course, knowing Russell's history of winning, the C's just lost by a point in game 6. If they were to force a game 7, Bill Russell a career best 10-0 record in game 7s. If it wasn't for Russell getting hurt, just think about how crazy it would have sounded if Russell and his dominant Celtics prevented Pettit from winning a single title. 1960 Celtics, of course, winning 2 of 3, 10 full games ahead of rookie Will Chamberlain's Warriors. Still 8 teams, Boston knocked off Will's team in 6 games Eastern Division Finals, up 3-1 before winning 119-117 game 6. Big Bill 21-27, Heinsohn 21-10, Cousy, Ramsey, Sharman, and Conley each averaged double figures. Chamberlain held to 30.5-point average, went on to face Pettit's Hawks for the 3rd time in 4 years. C's finished 13 games above, but the most important game, Russell led the way, 22 points, 35 rebounds. Pettit just held to 22, a Boston 122-103 win, proving no other team was any match. 1965 Celtics. All the years between, of course it was Boston to have the best overall record, but this time 13 games better than the Western Conference Lakers. By now, Russell looking for his 8th championship. The only other guy to fear was Prime Wilt, and the Lakers with the duo of Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. While Prime Wilt, angry with the Warriors, ended his San Francisco tenure on an 11-game losing streak to post a barely 500 record with the Sixers. Having stars in Hal Greer and Chet Walker, an insanely close series. Chamberlain's 30 and 26 Game 6 forced the deciding game at the Garden. The 7-game Russell 15 and 29 rebounds, 8 assists. Mr. Clutch Sam Jones 37, Wilt 30 and 32. Boston almost had their title streak snapped after Russell's only unclutch moment, inbounding the ball and throwing it away. While up 1 with a few seconds left, Sixers coach Dalf Shaves called timeout to decide to run a play not for Wilt. Scared Boston would intentionally foul the big due to his poor free throw shooting. Hal Greer attempted to inbound to Chet Walker. The famous call happened.
Greer's putting the ball on a play. He gets it out deep and Havlicek steals it. Over the stand goes. Havlicek stole the ball.
Havlicek's clutch defense, a 110-109 win. Many consider that the real championship game. Boston went on to defeat the Lakers in a non-competitive 5-game series without superstar Elgin Baylor due to injury. Sam Jones averaged 29 in that finals. 1967 Sixers. Philly under brilliant head coach Alex Hannon won a league record best 68 games, 8 games above Russell Celtics. The first year Chamberlain fully committed to being a better team player and playmaker, cut down the scoring. While the Western Conference very weak, Boston remarkable 8-year title streak on the line despite the C's winning 60. Beginning of the season, there was a strong sense the Sixers would dethrone the Celtics after starting out 37-3 overall. MVP Chamberlain shot a record best 68% from the field. The 46-4 start, still the best 50-game start all time. A 3-1 win over Oscar Robertson's Royals, then went on to take on the powerful Celtics, a series that truly defined the champs. Philly went up 3-0, fell game 4, only to put up 140 in the closeout game 5. Greer's 29-point average, Chamberlain averaged a triple-double, knocked off Rick Barry's Warriors in 6 games. 5 players averaged between 17 to 26 points in those finals. Before the 96 Bulls, many viewed the 67 Sixers as the best team ever. 1971 Milwaukee Bucks, another all-time great team. Kareem Jabbar's second season, the talented Big O took his talents away from Cincy, finished a whole 14 games better than any Eastern Conference teams, improved his previous record by 10 wins. Second best team the Knicks, 52 wins. The Lakers dealt with plenty of injuries. The former UCLA sensation steamrolled the entire competition. First the San Francisco Warriors 4-1, then the Lakers without West and Elgin. The passing of the torch from Chamberlain to Jabbar, the matchup pretty even. Bucks won in 5, followed by a sweep of the Bullets. The fastest time of any expansion team in North American sports to win title number 1. 50 years later, the Greek Freak led this same franchise to title number 2. The following year, 1973, given the 17 titles in franchise history, believe it or not, the Celtics' best regular season win percentage was the year they did not win the title. But this team was really good, 8 games above the Bucks and Lakers, the past 2 champions, led by superstar John Havlicek, MVP Dave Collins, Hall of Famer JoJo White, Paul Silas, and Don Chaney, a win over Lou Hudson and Pete Maravich's Hawks. This Boston team, one of the most underrated and forgotten all time, alongside rookie Paul Westphal. The turning point of their title hopes turned upside down. Havlicek dislocated his shoulder in the conference finals versus the 57-win Knicks after running into Dave the Butcher, occurred in Game 3, forced to miss Game 4, down 2-1 without his leader. Boston fell in double OT, Hondo able to come back 30 minutes. Game 5, Boston win. Game 6, just 23 minutes. And Game 7, just 4 points versus the Knicks, beating Boston in 7. At the very least, the 73 Celtics set the tone for the following title year in 74, Boston also another ring in 76, just like Russell's injury in 58. Havlicek's untimely shoulder, the biggest reason why Boston didn't win the 73 title, otherwise they would have been considered one of the best teams all time. 1984, Boston Celtics, in a decade where the East was the better conference, 8 games better than the Lakers, 62 wins, it was only a matter of time Bird and Magic would have a final showdown down, a matchup for the ages, still the most anticipated finals all time. MVP Bird finished 10 games above the defending champion Sixers, knocked off Bernard King's Knicks in 7, Larry 39-12 in the clincher, too good for Milwaukee, clutch plays versus the Lakers, Gerald Henderson steal game 2, forcing overtime, a win, Bird's clutch jumper in OT game 4, plus tragic Bronson's collapse, the 7th game, Bird 20-12 earned finals MVP after Larry called out the team saying they were playing like sissies.
We went in the locker room and Larry made the famous statement that we play like sissies.
After losing game 3, MacLeod took out Rambus game 4, Bird got into it with Kareem, Celtics became way tougher, all the classic drama and headlines in the moment, one of the most exciting finals all time for the people alive watching basketball. 1992 Chicago Bulls, 10-fold games better than the 57-win Blazers, Jordan in his prime, Pippen a legit superstar, the much improved Horace Grant. Bulls went 15-7 postseason. The physical Knicks led by Ewing and Xavier McDaniel took the Bulls to 7, but Jordan's 42-point decided Game 7 too much, took out Cleveland in 6. Before the finals, there were much chatters about the Drexler vs. Jordan matchup. The top 2 MVP candidates, the GOAT took it personally and absolutely destroyed the Blazers in every way imaginable. A 6-game series, averaged 36 a game, leaving no doubt who was the best player in the league. 1996 Chicago Bulls. Imagine winning 64 games and still 8 full games behind the team you'll face in the finals. That's what happened with Gary Payton's Sonics. After falling to Orlando, Jordan made sure he never lose another playoff series again. After acquiring the controversial low-risk, high-reward Dennis Rodman, a full season with cool coach Harper and Kerr, guys who weren't on the team for the first 3 titles, not only did the Bulls make a case for greatest team all time, posted a 15-3 playoff record. Despite the poor shooting from the Stars, Bulls already up 3-0 in the finals before winning in 6. Of course, Jordan and the Bulls ended up on this list multiple times. 2000 Los Angeles Lakers, 9 total teams won 50 plus, but prime Shaq with Phil Jackson and superstar Kobe in absolute force, 8 full games ahead of the loaded 59-win Blazers. It was championship or bust for the Diesel, seen as the face of the league after MJ retired, knocked off the Kings and Suns to start things out, tons of dramatic sequences versus the Blazers, nearly blew a 3-1 lead, down 16 in Game 7, the brilliant defense and hunger took over, led to an epic Portland collapse. The Kobe alley-oop to Shaq ruined the Blazers' title dreams, led to the beginning of a three-peat. Whoever was to win the conference finals was gonna be a massive favorite versus Indiana. Prime Shaq a series best 38-point average, while shooting 39% from the line, the biggest force of nature post-Will Chamberlain. While no other teams between 2001 to 2021 finished 8 games above the second best regular season team, some of the teams to finish 7 games ahead, the 2008 Celtics over the 59-win Pistons, 2015 Warriors 7 games above the overrated 60-win Hawks. Golden State 2016 and 2017 just finished 6 games above San Antonio, while the 2018 Rockets finished 6 games ahead of the Raptors. All in all, given all the years in the National Basketball Association, every time the #1 seed with the overall best record in the league finished at least 8 games above the second best record, 1947 Capitals 49-11 versus the Chicago Stags, Capitals lost to the Warriors. I'm excluding this because it was the first season of the BAA, it wasn't officially called the NBA yet. While in 1958, Celtics 8 games above the Nationals and Hawks lost in the finals because of Russell's injuries, missed 2 games. 1960, Celtics 10 games above the Warriors, won over the Hawks 13 games better, resulting in a championship. 1965 Celtics, 13 games better than the Lakers, 62-18 overall, no doubt about that title. 1967 Sixers, 8 games better than the 60-win Celtics, easily won the title. 1971 Bucks, 14 games better than the 52-win Knicks, easily won. 1973 Celtics, 8 games better than the Bucks, lost due to the injured John Havlicek. 1984 Celtics, 8 games better than the Lakers, won a title, 62 wins versus 54 wins. 92 Bulls, 10 games better than the Blazers, 67 wins versus 57 wins, no doubt about that. 96 Bulls, 8 games better than the Sonics, the 2 teams met in the finals, an easy 6-game series win for Chicago. 2000 Lakers, 8 games better than the Blazers, 67 wins versus 59, no doubt Shaq and Kobe the better team. So 11 total times, resulting in 9 titles. But when all the star players were healthy, it's 9-0. The only two teams were the Celtics, losing to the eventual champions. Bill Russell hurt in the finals. His team still competed, while Havlicek's injury missing Game 4 of the Eastern Finals. His team lost in overtime as a result. So barring any injuries, if the 2022 Phoenix Suns continue to maintain a win column of 8 or more games above the second place Grizzlies, given the dominance of all those past regular season teams, the Suns' championship chances looking very good. They don't want to be the first fully healthy team to blow it. While many of these teams on the list, some of the greatest all time, thank you so much for watching this video. Do you believe the 2022 Phoenix Suns will win the NBA championship on its way to a franchise best record and likely finishing a dozen games better than any teams in the East? Let me know your thoughts on the Suns and if CP3 can finally reach his dream as an NBA champion. Last but not least, potential giveaway if the Phoenix Suns win the 2022 NBA championship and Devin Booker wins Finals MVP. The first person to DM me on IG at WilsonSide93 will win a free Devin Booker jersey of their choice. Once again, the first person to DM me after Devin Booker officially gets announced Finals MVP when Phoenix wins the title, I'll give away a free D-Book jersey. If any other player not named Devin Booker wins Finals MVP, that means no giveaway. And if I get DMs the day of the clinching finals game before the game officially ends or when the finals MVP is not fully announced from either Woj or Shams, I will disqualify you. So best of luck to everyone. I love all of you. See you next time.